Welcome to Summary Secrets, your daily personal growth companion. In today's video, we'll be uncovering the top lessons from Daring Greatly by Brené Brown. If you're ready to unlock the secrets within this book and gain valuable insights, let's dive right in. Lesson 1. Vulnerability is not weakness, but rather the key to connection and courage. Being vulnerable is often seen as a weakness, but it is actually the opposite. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you open yourself up to deeper connections with others. It takes courage to be vulnerable, to share your true thoughts and feelings, but it is worth it. By being vulnerable, you allow others to see the real you, and this can lead to more meaningful relationships. For example, if you are struggling with something, sharing your vulnerability with a friend or loved one can lead to them offering support and understanding. This can strengthen your bond and make you feel less alone. On the other hand, if you try to hide your vulnerability, you may come across as distant or unapproachable, which can hinder your relationships. So, embrace vulnerability as a strength, not a weakness, and see how it can lead to deeper connections and greater courage. Lesson 2. Shame is a universal experience that can be overcome through empathy and self-compassion. Shame is a feeling that everyone experiences at some point in their lives. It can be caused by a variety of things, such as making a mistake, being rejected, or feeling inadequate. However, it is important to remember that shame is a universal experience and that you are not alone in feeling this way. Empathy and self-compassion are two powerful tools that can help you overcome shame. Empathy involves putting yourself in someone else's shoes and understanding their perspective. By doing this, you can gain a better understanding of why you feel ashamed and begin to work through those feelings. Self-compassion involves treating yourself with kindness and understanding. Instead of being hard on yourself for making a mistake or feeling ashamed, you can show yourself the same compassion and understanding that you would show to a friend. For example, if you made a mistake at work and feel ashamed, you can practice empathy by considering your boss's perspective and understanding that mistakes happen. You can then practice self-compassion by reminding yourself that everyone makes mistakes and that it is okay to learn from them and move on. By practicing empathy and self-compassion, you can overcome shame and begin to live a more fulfilling life. Remember that shame is a universal experience and that you are not alone in feeling this way. With the right tools and mindset, you can overcome shame and live a happier, more confident life. Lesson 3. Wholehearted living requires embracing imperfection and cultivating gratitude. To live wholeheartedly, you must accept that imperfection is a natural part of life. Instead of striving for perfection, focus on progress and growth. Embrace your flaws and mistakes as opportunities for learning and improvement. For example, if you make a mistake at work, instead of beating yourself up, acknowledge the mistake, learn from it, and move forward. Cultivating gratitude is also essential for wholehearted living. It involves being thankful for what you have, rather than focusing on what you lack. Gratitude can be practiced by keeping a gratitude journal, expressing appreciation to others, or simply taking a moment to reflect on the good things in your life. For instance, you can be grateful for having a supportive family, a roof over your head, or good health. By embracing imperfection and cultivating gratitude, you can live a more fulfilling and meaningful life. You will be able to appreciate the present moment, rather than constantly striving for an unattainable ideal. You will also be more resilient in the face of challenges, as you will have a positive mindset and the ability to learn from setbacks. Lesson 4. Shame resilience involves recognizing and challenging the messages of shame that we internalize. Shame is a powerful emotion that can have a significant impact on our lives. It can make us feel unworthy, inadequate, and alone. Shame resilience is the ability to recognize and challenge the messages of shame that we internalize. This means being able to identify when we are feeling shame and understanding where those feelings are coming from. It also means being able to challenge the messages of shame that we tell ourselves and replace them with more positive and empowering messages. For example, if you make a mistake at work and start to feel ashamed, you might tell yourself that you are a failure and that everyone is judging you. However, if you practice shame resilience, you might recognize that these messages are not helpful or accurate. Instead, you might challenge these messages by reminding yourself that everyone makes mistakes and that you are still a valuable and competent employee. Shame resilience is not about avoiding shame altogether, but rather about learning how to cope with it in a healthy and productive way. By recognizing and challenging the messages of shame that we internalize, we can build our resilience and become more confident and self-assured individuals. Lesson 5. Trust is built through vulnerability, honesty, and reliability. Trust is a crucial element in any relationship, whether it's personal or professional. To build trust, you need to be vulnerable, honest, and reliable. Vulnerability means being open and honest about your feelings, fears, and weaknesses. When you're vulnerable, you allow others to see the real you, and this creates a deeper connection. For example, if you're struggling with a personal issue, sharing it with a friend or colleague can help build trust. Honesty is another essential element of trust. It means being truthful and transparent in your communication. When you're honest, you show that you have integrity and that you're trustworthy. For example, if you make a mistake, admitting it and taking responsibility for it can help build trust. Reliability is the third element of trust. It means being consistent and dependable in your actions and words. When you're reliable, you show that you can be counted on to follow through on your commitments. For example, if you promise to complete a task by a certain deadline, delivering it on time can help build trust. In summary, trust is built through vulnerability, honesty, and reliability. By being open and honest about your feelings, being truthful and transparent in your communication, and being consistent and dependable in your actions and words, you can build trust in any relationship. Lesson 6. Boundaries are essential for healthy relationships and self-care. Setting boundaries is crucial for maintaining healthy relationships and taking care of yourself. Boundaries are limits that you set for yourself and others in order to protect your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Without boundaries, you may find yourself constantly giving to others without receiving anything in return, or allowing others to treat you poorly. For example, if you have a friend who constantly asks for favors but never reciprocates, it's important to set a boundary and let them know that you can't always be available to help them. This doesn't mean you don't care about them, but it's important to prioritize your own needs and not let others take advantage of you. Similarly, if you're in a romantic relationship and your partner is constantly crossing your boundaries, it's important to communicate your needs and set clear limits. This could mean telling them that you need more alone time, or that certain behaviors are not acceptable. Setting boundaries can be difficult, especially if you're used to putting others' needs before your own. But it's important to remember that boundaries are not selfish, they're necessary for maintaining healthy relationships and taking care of yourself. By setting boundaries, you're showing others that you value yourself and your well-being, and you're also creating space for more authentic and fulfilling connections with others. Lesson 7. Perfectionism is a self-destructive and unattainable goal that can be overcome through self-awareness and self-compassion. Perfectionism is a common trait that many people strive for, but it can be a self-destructive and unattainable goal. When you set unrealistic expectations for yourself, you may feel like you're constantly falling short and never good enough. This can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. Self-awareness is key to overcoming perfectionism. You need to recognize when you're setting unrealistic expectations for yourself and learn to let go of the need to be perfect. Instead, focus on progress and growth, and celebrate your successes along the way. Self-compassion is also important in overcoming perfectionism. You need to be kind and understanding with yourself, just as you would be with a friend. When you make mistakes or fall short of your goals, don't beat yourself up. Instead, offer yourself words of encouragement and support. Remember, perfectionism is not a healthy or attainable goal. Embrace your imperfections and focus on being the best version of yourself, rather than striving for an unattainable ideal. With self-awareness and self-compassion, you can overcome perfectionism and live a happier, more fulfilling life. Lesson 8. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others, and is essential for meaningful connection. Empathy is a crucial skill that allows you to connect with others on a deeper level. It involves putting yourself in someone else's shoes and understanding their emotions and experiences. When you show empathy, you create a safe space for others to share their feelings and thoughts without fear of judgment. This can lead to more meaningful relationships and a greater sense of community. For example, imagine a friend who is going through a tough time. Instead of dismissing their feelings or trying to fix their problems, you listen to them and try to understand what they're going through. You might say things like, "That sounds really difficult," or "I can see why you're feeling that way." By acknowledging their emotions and showing that you care, you're demonstrating empathy. Empathy is also important in the workplace. When you understand your colleagues' perspectives and feelings, you can work together more effectively and create a more positive work environment. For instance, if a coworker is struggling with a project, you might offer to help or simply listen to their concerns. By showing empathy, you're building trust and strengthening your professional relationships. Overall, empathy is a powerful tool for building connections and fostering understanding. By practicing empathy in your daily life, you can create a more compassionate and supportive community. Lesson 9. Shame and vulnerability are often at the root of addiction and can be addressed through connection and support. Addiction can be a result of shame and vulnerability. When you feel ashamed or vulnerable, you may turn to addictive behaviors to cope with those feelings. For example, if you feel ashamed of your body, you may turn to food or drugs to numb those feelings. However, the root cause of addiction can be addressed through connection and support. By connecting with others who understand your struggles and offering support to one another, you can begin to heal from the shame and vulnerability that led to addiction. This can be done through therapy, support groups, or even just talking to a trusted friend or family member. By addressing the root cause of addiction, you can begin to break free from its hold on your life. Lesson 10. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the willingness to take risks and be vulnerable in pursuit of our goals and values. Courage is often misunderstood as the absence of fear, but it is not. It is the willingness to take risks and be vulnerable in pursuit of our goals and values. Being courageous means facing our fears and taking action despite them. For example, if you want to start your own business, it takes courage to take the risk of leaving your stable job and investing your time and money into something uncertain. It also takes vulnerability to put yourself out there and face the possibility of failure or rejection. However, if you truly value your goal of being an entrepreneur, you must be willing to take these risks and be vulnerable. Courage is not easy, but it is necessary for growth and success. Thank you for watching Summary Secrets, your daily personal growth companion. If you found these lessons insightful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more condensed wisdom. Stay tuned daily for more.